Welcome to the Aria. It's fascinating that over 90% of our viewers connect deeply with our videos, yet choose not to subscribe Speech Balloon if you've just joined us. Welcome to a place where every story is a journey through hidden truths, unspoken emotions, and endings that leave you breathless. Backhand index pointing right, still watching but haven't subscribed yet? Now's your moment. Hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next will pull you in deeper than you ever expected. Bell, and don't forget to tap the bell, so you'll never miss the next chapter that just might change everything. Right arrow, one click, one emotional journey. Come with us. In a heartbeat, you can help us create even more remarkable content just for you. The air crackled with tension, wrapping around me like a second skin. The pounding of my heart resonated in my ears, a relentless reminder of the choice that awaited me. Hi, I'm Noah. I'm 24 years old. I recently began working at the auto parts store in Pittsburgh, hoping it's close enough to walk to when my old Civic finally breaks down. The place radiated charm. Two mirrored units stand side by side, their simple brick siding reflecting a quiet elegance. Each boasts a small porch, inviting yet understated, while a narrow strip of lawn lies between them, a fragile boundary in their shared existence. The left side belonged to me. It belonged to her without a doubt. I stepped out of the car, my back aching from the long drive. I glanced at my phone, double-checking the address, even though deep down, I knew I was at the right spot. Then the door on the right swung open. She emerged as if the moment had been hers all along. "Is that you, Noah?" she inquired. "Hello," I spoke as I approached. "Noah, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me." "Marissa." That was everything I had uncovered to this point. She sent me the time to arrive, but her silence spoke volumes. There she stood, effortlessly poised against the porch post, a cigarette dangling from her fingers, clad in worn jeans, a billowy white t-shirt, and bare feet. She appeared unlike anything I had imagined. Far from the anxious landlady stereotype. Unwavering, cozy, confident. Her dark hair was gathered loosely, with a few strands cascading down her face. Her calmness was genuine, an unshakable presence that felt real. "Step inside. Let me reveal your new home." I stepped into her world. The unit gleamed with an unsettling clarity. Uncomplicated. A compact living room, a cozy kitchenette, an intimate bedroom, and a simple bath. Simple yet revitalized. The fresh paint and pristine carpet breathed new life into the space. The windows flooded the room with light, creating an illusion of vastness that belied its true size. It may seem ordinary, yet there's a profound stillness that envelopes it. She glanced back at me, her eyes searching as I took in my surroundings. "Your neighbors will leave you in peace, because simply put, there are none." A smile broke across my face. "Truly, it's flawless." She observed me intently, as if trying to decipher my very essence. Not in an odd manner. "I'm intrigued. I didn't expect you to be this young." I let out a brief, soft laugh. 24. I hope that's not an issue." Marissa's lips curled into a sly smile. "Absolutely not. Typically, younger tenants are punctual with their payments and tend to voice fewer complaints. Minimal drama." Her words hung in the air, a tantalizing mix of playfulness and sincerity, leaving me uncertain and on edge. Most likely, both. She was an enigma, elusive and complex. We covered the essentials. Rent is due on the 1st. Utilities are included. Remember to take out the trash on Mondays. She pressed the key into my palm, her voice steady but laced with urgency. "Just don't break anything I can't afford to replace," she warned. "I will give it everything I have." After the small talk, she took a step back toward her door, then hesitated. "Just so you're aware, I'm often here. If you require assistance." "Thank you, it means a lot." She sparked another cigarette on the porch, inhaling deeply, savoring the moment. The smoke twisted and danced in the warm afternoon air. I lingered for a moment, captivated by her exhale, by the serene calm that enveloped her. "I'll give you a moment to find your place." She finally spoke, her eyes locking onto mine, a small, knowing smile playing on her lips. "Understood." I turned to the door, a rush of embarrassment flooding over me. "Thank you once more." I brought in the first few boxes, fighting the urge to dwell on the way her gaze pierced through me. Yet, I sensed it, a subtle pulse beneath the facade. It's unspoken, yet it lingers between you, palpable and undeniable. As evening fell and the sun sank low, painting the sky in a rare, soft pink of late summer, I caught sight of her once more through the front window. She sat on the porch, barefoot, a glass of wine in hand, a cigarette dangling between her fingers. Her eyes were half closed, as if she were adrift in a realm of her own making. I switched off the light and lingered for a moment, captivated by her presence without intending to be. She appeared at peace, as if solitude was her only companion. She appeared self-sufficient, yet there was a flicker of longing in her gaze, a subtle acceptance of being noticed. The initial days fell into a haunting cadence. Endless cycle, toil, retreat, rest. Working at the auto parts store felt mundane, yet it was a lifeline keeping me afloat. Plain, expected. I loved that. The duplex was silent, just as she had vowed. Marissa and I would encounter each other fleetingly, by the mailbox, in the rhythm of our comings and goings, discarding our burdens into the bins. Initially, it was merely the typical neighborly interactions. Brief nods, fleeting hellos, and snippets of small talk. Yet it began to change. One morning, coffee mug clutched tightly, I stepped outside and found her waiting on the porch. Clad in a sheer robe over a tank top and shorts, she cradled her coffee, the smoke curling around her like a familiar embrace. Her hair clung to her skin, still damp as if she had just emerged from the shower. Her eyes met mine briefly, a spark igniting in the silence between us. "Up and at it early?" she inquired. "Yeah," I said, tugging at my work shirt, the weight of the moment heavy in the air. Day of reckoning. At dawn, the boss insists we count brake pads, a ritual that feels both grueling and oddly profound. Marissa's smile was barely there, yet it held a world of unspoken emotion. "You've painted it in such a dazzling light." "It's a dream realized." She chuckled quietly, releasing a plume of smoke through her nostrils. The sound enveloped me, soothing yet profound. "At least you face work head-on. That's unusual for someone your age." Once more, the age thing reared its head. She enjoyed tossing it in, always with a gentle touch. Felt more like she was probing the depths. Perhaps I carry the spirit of an old man within me. I made a joke. Marissa tilted her head, her eyes narrowing slightly, as if she were measuring my worth. I'm not so sure about that." Her voice was steady, yet an unspoken weight lingered in the air, stretching the moment just a heartbeat longer. Unsure of what to say, I forced a smile and walked toward my car. "Take care." "So are you, Noah?" Her voice, soft and unwavering as she spoke my name, lingered in my mind long after. That night, after a long day at work, I returned home to discover a bag of groceries waiting on my doorstep. I glanced over, and there she stood, poised against the doorframe, as if she had been holding her breath for my gaze to meet hers. She mentioned it casually, but the local market had a deal on eggs and bread. "I thought you might need some essentials." Surprise struck me like a lightning bolt. "Oh, that's so kind of you. You never needed to." She simply shrugged, a fleeting gesture that spoke volumes. "I understand." I still recall the feeling of beginning anew. "Honestly, you don't seem like the kind of person who enjoys grocery shopping." Incredible. Did I just laugh? "You're right." Her grin was infectious, a spark of pure joy lighting up her face. I knew it. I brought the bag inside, a familiar, unsettling energy coursing through me once again. It wasn't the words, but the way they pierced through the silence, bright yet shadowed by deeper truths, a gentle awareness that only comes from those who truly see you. The following evening, fate brought us face to face. I was hauling out the trash when she appeared, barefoot, clad in black leggings and a loose sweater that slipped off one shoulder. A cigarette smoldered between her fingers, its glow a silent companion to her thoughts. "Hi there," I spoke. "Hi there," she halted, her gaze locking onto mine, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Are you doing all right?" "Absolutely, this place is incredible." Marissa's gaze pierced through me, lingering for a heartbeat. "You're different from the others I've encountered." "Really?" I inquired, intrigued. "They often push themselves too far, or they completely turn away from me, as you can imagine." Her hand flickered between us, a fleeting gesture filled with unspoken tension. "The entire age matter. I find no reason to exert myself or steer clear of you." Her smile flickered as she tapped the ash from her cigarette. "Excellent response." A smile tugged at my lips in response. "You enjoy pushing people's limits, don't you?" Marissa's eyes sparkled with intensity. "Perhaps." The silence between us held a weight that was anything but easy. The air was warm, electric with an unspoken tension. It wasn't that we were meant to speak, but an unspoken understanding hung between us, a conversation lingering just out of reach. With a final inhale, she extinguished the cigarette, letting it fall into the ashtray by her door. "Indeed," she whispered, retreating to her corner. "Sleep well, Noah." "Sweet dreams, Marissa." I lingered for a moment after she disappeared inside, caught in a tension that left me uncertain and raw, the kind that resonates deep within, stirring emotions more than thoughts. It was a Saturday, a day that held the weight of unspoken promises. After 2 relentless weeks of covering shifts, I finally had a full day off. Quiet moments, no rush, just a gentle beginning. A knock echoed at my door, piercing the mid-morning silence. As I lifted the lid, she appeared before me. Marissa stood there, clad in a loose gray t-shirt and jeans, her face bare of makeup. Her hair was pulled back with a casual ease, a few rebellious strands escaping to frame her face. In her grasp, a tiny box trembled, heavy with unspoken secrets. "Morning," she said, her smile bright and inviting. "Hi there. Hear me out. Please, I need your help." "Absolutely. What's going on?" She raised the box just enough to feel its weight shift. "I ordered a small shelf for my space. It's nothing major, but the instructions are in Swedish or a similar language. Can you help me piece it all together?" A smile broke across my face. "Instructions in Swedish? It has to be serious." Her laughter escaped, a fleeting spark in the silence. "Just trust me. I promise to repay you." I stepped into her side of the duplex for the first time, my heart racing with anticipation. It was unlike anything I had imagined. Warm yet perfectly arranged, gentle illumination, sleek contours, and a handful of plants thoughtfully placed. The air was thick with a ghostly blend of perfume and cigarette smoke. Something comforting, known, and deeply nurturing. The shelf was unremarkable, merely a simple cube organizer, yet it held secrets waiting to be uncovered. She had a point. The instructions were chaotic. We huddled on her living room floor, piecing together fragments of a story waiting to unfold. "Are you skilled at this?" she inquired. "I am a man." I spoke. "My reputation is on the line." It brought a spark of laughter to her eyes. "Don't ruin this, handyman." We toiled together, our hands colliding, leaning in unison to scrutinize the diagram. Every touch was fleeting yet charged with purpose. We stood still, frozen in that moment when it all changed. In a fleeting moment, she leaned over, her hand stretching toward the wooden dowel. Her arm grazed my shoulder, lingering just a heartbeat longer than necessary. Our eyes met, and a subtle smile danced on her lips, igniting a spark within me. Her voice trembled, barely a whisper this time. "Being with you feels effortless, Noah." I swallowed hard, my pulse quickening slightly. "You as well." There was a pause, calm yet charged. Fully energized, it lingered, unvoiced yet palpable, a truth we both felt deep within. The shelf was completed in under an hour, yet neither of us dared to rise. She sat cross-legged, igniting a cigarette, the smoke curling around her as she watched me intently. "You know," she whispered, "I typically maintain a barrier between myself and my tenants. It's easier that way. Am I crossing a line?" Marissa's smile was barely there, yet it held a world of unspoken emotion. Perhaps. Neither of us dared to move. The air between us thickened, charged with an undeniable heat. A tightness gripped my chest, yet it was strangely comforting. My hand lingered on my knee, just a breath away from hers. In a fleeting moment, I reached out, my fingertips grazing her hand just enough to spark a jolt of electricity. She stayed close, unwavering, her gaze locked onto mine, unwavering and resolute. She held back, allowing the moment to linger. I sealed the distance. The first kiss lingered, tender and slow, her lips warm, a whisper of wine and smoke lingering between them. She reacted without hesitation, drawing closer with a soft breath, her hand gripping my arm. Silence enveloped us. Her breath quickened as our lips met once more, lingering this time. My hand found her waist, tracing the softness of her shirt, the warmth of her body radiating beneath. Silently, she rose, her fingers gently pulling at my hand. I trailed behind. She guided me down the narrow hallway into her bedroom, where the afternoon light filtered softly through the delicate curtains. The bed was perfectly made at first glance. What came next was a stillness, raw and profound. Silent resolve, unwavering certainty. Two souls entwined, caught in a storm that had been brewing for weeks. The next morning I rose before she stirred. The room was infused with her essence. Notes of perfume, fresh linens, and an indescribable warmth that lingered in the air. The shirt lay abandoned on the chair, catching the light from the window. Her robe dangled from the closet door, a silent witness to the chaos within. A half-full glass of water and a pack of cigarettes lingered on her nightstand, a silent testament to her restless nights. She shifted next to me, clutching the blanket tighter. "Morning," she whispered, her voice thick with the remnants of sleep. "Morning has arrived." Marissa cracked one eye open, a gentle smile playing on her lips. "Are you all right?" "Absolutely." I returned the smile. "Far beyond okay." She shut her eyes once more, drawing in closer as if it were the most instinctive act imaginable. And in some way it truly was. The days that followed were deceptively simple, authentic. We never spoke of that night's events. We never had to. Silence hung in the air, heavy yet unbroken, as understanding passed between them. Some evenings, Marissa would softly knock on my door, a bottle of wine in hand or just a quiet glance that spoke volumes. I found myself irresistibly pulled to her apartment, not due to any plan, but simply because being near her brought me a profound sense of comfort. We shared the kitchen a few times, creating something special together. She cooked, pouring her heart into every dish. I stood there, slicing through whatever she passed my way. We'd linger on her tiny porch, lost in conversations that felt utterly trivial. Labor, memories of the past, melodies. She had a passion for classic rock bands. She claimed they rejuvenated her spirit. I kept it to myself, but she was more than capable on her own. But then, one fateful morning, everything changed. I rose with the dawn, slipped into a t-shirt, and ventured outside to collect the paper she had always ordered. Marissa's porch light flickered, casting an eerie glow, but an unsettling change hung in the air. Her car had vanished. I brushed it off initially, just another routine task. As night fell, a heavy silence lingered, and she remained missing. Suddenly, my phone flickered to life. "Marissa, rise and shine, the moment is near. Everything will be all right." That was everything. Silence reigns. "No, I'll return shortly. Just stepping out for a moment." Silence. A void that echoes with unspoken words. I fixed my gaze on the screen, heart racing, as I waited for the next message to arrive. It never arrived. The following days were unsettling. The shadows enveloped her space. Silence hangs heavy. Her porch sits silent in the evenings, devoid of the familiar curl of cigarette smoke. No knocks echo through the silence of my door. No chance encounters by the trash bins or mailbox. I hesitated, my fingers hovering over the screen, the weight of unspoken words heavy in the air, inquiring about her whereabouts, questioning if all was well. Yet, a part of me hesitated. She never requested that I reach out. Her words were a fragile promise. "Don't worry." I chose not to. I fell back into the familiar rhythm of my days. Labor, home, rest. Yet the weight of the house pressed down more than ever. Silence hangs heavy. Each time I passed her side of the duplex, my eyes were drawn to her windows, a reflex I couldn't shake. Still, I never allowed myself to knock. One evening, a week into her absence, I sat on my small porch, a cheap beer in hand, as the sun slipped away behind the rooftops. The warmth of the air surrounded me, yet an unsettling chill crept through my bones. A haunting emptiness settled in, one that words fail to capture. I was lost in uncertainty, haunted by her absence, questioning everything, her reasons, her return. Yet I was aware of this truth. Her absence weighed heavily on my heart. It was more than her appearance. Her voice echoed in my mind, a haunting reminder of what was lost. Her laughter echoed, a haunting melody that lingered in the air. Her gaze lingered on me, a silent intensity when I was unaware. Her presence, just a breath away, brought an undeniable warmth. I reclined in my chair, eyes fixed on her side of the house, where the windows remained shrouded in darkness. "Rise and shine, the moment is near," I murmured softly, echoing her words in my mind. What could that possibly mean? Nearly 3 weeks had passed. By then, I had nearly ceased checking my phone, no longer stealing glances at her dark windows each time I drove into the driveway. Work occupied my mind, but it couldn't fill the void. The unsettling silence had woven itself into my daily life, as if her absence was a reality I was meant to accept. And then one night, long after 10, I heard it. A car's engine roars as it enters the driveway, breaking the silence with a jarring finality. Initially, I stood still. My heart raced as I sat on the couch, eyes locked on the front door. The unmistakable click of her car door echoed in the silence. Whispers of movement. The lock clicks, a key twisting with purpose. Her porch light blazed to life. She had returned. I lingered for a moment, torn between the urge to knock and the weight of uncertainty. Just as I was about to decide, a soft knock echoed at my door. I opened it, and there she was, standing before me. No explanation needed. Silence reigns. Only Marissa. She resembled her true self, serene, composed. Yet her eyes held a gentle warmth. Feeling a bit worn out, she donned black leggings and a long sweater that slipped off one shoulder, an effortless yet striking look. Her hair was gathered loosely, a casual elegance that hinted at untold stories. Raw and unfiltered, no cigarette. "Hey," she whispered. "Hi there." My voice emerged harsher than I intended. "May I enter?" I stepped aside, and she entered as if nothing had changed. Yet it wasn't, far from it. She absorbed the room, her eyes wide, as if it were a revelation. Everything remained unchanged, yet her absence cast a heavy shadow, altering the very essence of it all. I held my silence, the weight of unspoken words heavy in the air. I longed to. I felt lost, unsure of how to begin. She shattered the stillness first. I apologize for vanishing. Her voice trembled with a delicate caution. This is your life. I whispered softly. You owe me nothing. Marissa exhaled softly, as if releasing a weight she had carried for too long. Perhaps not. Yet I should have spoken the truth to you. I nodded, holding back my thoughts. She would explain if she truly wanted to. She simply didn't. She stepped forward, closing the distance between them. Slowly, deliberately, I bridged the distance that separates us, just as she always had. Be cautious, yes, but also daring in your exploration. I miss home, she whispered, her voice heavy with longing. Our gazes locked. Your absence next door is deeply felt. Her lips curled into a faint smile, one I hadn't known I had etched in my mind. We stood frozen, caught in the weight of the moment. The air between us grew heavy, but not like before. A weight loomed behind it now, a force unlike any we had experienced. This went beyond the surface. It lingered, a heavy presence that took root in her absence, a silent yearning, poised to complete its unfinished business. This time she made the first move. Her fingers brushed softly against my forearm. Her thumb moved in a delicate circle on my skin. The touch was brief, yet it sent a jolt through my heart. In silence, we drew closer, hearts entwined. The kiss lingered, a careful exploration of what remained, revealing that everything had deepened in intensity. Her hand glided up my chest, while mine encircled her waist, drawing her in just a fraction more. Her breath hitched as our lips met once more, this time with an intensity that ignited something within us. She paused, her forehead touching mine, her voice barely a whisper. You're still a comfort, she whispered. Your presence complicates the ease of keeping things light. I breathed my reply softly. Her soft laugh echoed in the silence, and then her lips met mine once more. Later, as we lay in bed, her head against my chest, the silence enveloped us, a familiar comfort returning. I traced my fingers through her hair, captivated by the gentle rise and fall of her breath. We remained silent about her whereabouts. Perhaps we never would. Yet, she stood before me, a presence that shifted everything.